Hello, sweet souls. It's DTO in the flow, wanting you to know that I am a part of a multidimensional space that includes Embody Costa Rica as well as PRiSM Wellness and Yoga. And today I have an incredible guest. And before I bring on Karla Hollan, you can see the scrolling ticker up above here. She is in the waiting room. I always take care of my guests in the green room. They got plenty to drink. Make sure you stay hydrated, everyone. Muy importante. So I am DTO. I'm an award-winning producer and the co-visionary of Embody Costa Rica. This is our beautiful wellness and retreat center that Himalaya and I, once upon a time in 2020, we came to Costa Rica and we had this vision of bringing communities together, having connection. This is a beautiful image of a women's retreat. And this is the yoga space, our shala, that we built, as I like to say, while everyone was watching Tiger King and making sourdough bread, we were building a wellness and retreat center. And so I am underneath the yoga shala. I'll give you a little behind the scenes, BTS as the kids call it. And what I love about the lifestyle of being in a space of creativity, wellness, as well as community is that sometimes if you build something, they will come. So Himalaya woke up one morning and told me she had the vision of building a labyrinth. And the labyrinth apparently is the bat signal for Karla because she got to drive by our property. We didn't know each other, saw this labyrinth on our land and said to herself, I'm going to go to that labyrinth and she'll tell us the rest of the story. But that's how we connected. So without further ado, I will bring on my guest, Karla Hollan. How are you? Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me today, DTO. This is such a pleasure. It's good. I miss you guys so much. I miss being there.
So many great memories. And of course, when you're here and you teach yoga, this is a great photo at our retreat center. Just add so many phenomenal good energies. And that's one thing I love about who we are. As I said at the intro, we're these multidimensional beings. You offer aerial yoga. You have so many other layers of who you are in the world. And that's why this 5Q interview was established for us to start off with our first and most important part is how did it all begin, right? So let's go into it. Origin story. So once upon a time, there was a little girl, and this is our visual.
Yes.
So how did it all begin?
So my father was quite the mentor to a lot of families and teenagers, struggling teenagers. And he was coaching and teaching and always being positive, forward momentum in what he offered. And I saw that and I knew that that was going to be my path. He also became ill. And I watched a lot of struggle with illness in the family. And I knew I had to either be in medicine somehow or some type of wellness that was bringing health and maybe even more proactive health into families. And I just knew that at a very young age. So I have to attribute it to my father and my whole family. I'm the youngest of five. So I watched a lot. I was an observer and I just kind of watched the dynamic of people. And I really felt like part of figuring out life was how to figure out how to have harmony from within. And I didn't know what that word meant when I was young, but I knew when everybody around me was kind of in a flow and was feeling good, what was it about that? And when they weren't, and when things weren't going right and there were more and more struggle, what could be changed with that? So that was my interest, was really being an observer and a people watcher and maybe even a little bit of a people pleaser too. So
That's the beauty of growing up, right? We get to see
right,
like how our families operate. That's our first example.
right.
And the dynamics in the household. And I love this image because you get to have that memory of how your father was here in this serving energy, right? And I'm here
Right.
in this serving energy. And we're all here in some way, I feel, to serve, right? Because we're all, as I like to call us, we're all nameless energy. So how did this happen? Let's talk about this, the catwalk.
Right. Right. So I started modeling at a young age, and it was actually a finishing school. So it really taught me how to be in front of people and how to work with what you had, just the element of being in front of the camera, or the element of how to talk with people or just relax yourself in a setting so that you could present and give your best. So it was modeling. And then I started teaching at that modeling school. So that was my original teaching experience, which was crazy because I was young teaching kids that were just like 3 years younger than me, but I looked so much older. And so this is with my nieces, and I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and it just was part of my life, always either working on their posture, or there I was probably teaching them how to walk the runway or to do some modeling. But it was early on that I wanted to, I don't know, help empower mainly females, but help empower them and make them feel good like I did when I was building what I was building in my life. So, yeah.
Well, let's jump
That's
into the path, because so you got to have these experiences, right?
Yep.
And you already said you just naturally got into this mentorship of like
Mhm.
holding space for others, having wisdom and knowledge to pay it forward to others. And,
Mhm.
you've heard me talk about this, like there's 4 steps of communication, right? The sender, the message, the receiver, and the feedback. So normally the origin story is about, okay, I'm going to receive what this message is that someone else is sending. And then the feedback to your consciousness and your heart and your soul is usually, oh, I want to do that. Like when I first listened to music and I got into music, so I was like, I want to play the drums. I want to play the
Mhm.
piano. I want to like
Mhm.
do that. Right. So that's what's really lovely, because then the next phase of this 5Q interview gets into the path of the vision. So when did the vision come to life? Just like this bolt of the rainbow prism and behind us, there's this moment. Was it a slow, steady, like your father being there to support and community? Or did you just wake up one morning and be like, this is me. This is what I'm going to choose to do. And you're going to get into these healing modalities for the world.
So, I think sometimes struggles in life or moves, when you take a move somewhere, or you're changing your life altogether. I moved to Florida in 1997, and that was a time that was kind of crazy. I was changing everything, the type of work I was doing, and I met an 84-year-old lady that taught yoga. And that was there was no yoga studios. If you even got to do yoga, it would be maybe at a chiropractic center, but most of the time it wasn't really accepted. I even had family members that were kind of appalled, and they thought I was in some kind of crazy cult. But Ruth Gill was her name, and she was in her 80s. And I couldn't believe this woman and what she could do. And it wasn't really about stretching as much as what she could do there, but just she was so sharp, and she had such wisdom. And I remember her always telling me, you're going to take this off the mat and you're going to bring it in your life. And I didn't really understand what she was meaning, like take what the asana, the exercise, the pose off the mat. But the more I went, and I realized she was taking my type A, really driven self, and really helping mold me into a place where I loved who I was, and was able to kind of work from there, a place of inner peace. That was the true yoga that she was giving me. And so I learned from her, and then I started noticing in my body things that were different than just being a runner. And I thought, this is really cool, this yoga stuff. So I said, I've got to study this. But back then, again, you couldn't really earn that much money from it. So during studying it, because we had a great yoga association in St. Pete, it was called the Suncoast Yoga Teachers Association. It's still around to some degree, but we had Rodney Yee and a lot of, back in the day, the the originals, the OGs that would come into our place and give us the limbs of yoga, really teach us and steep us in the knowledge of living yoga, not just the asana. So I was able to do that for many, many years here in St. Pete, and to teach, and to keep taking yoga off my mat from Ruth Gill. And I hurt myself doing it. I hurt my neck, and that's how I ended up being in physical therapy, because I ended up in a PT office trying to fix what happened in my yoga class. And that's when I had the aha moment. How can I bridge all this good yoga stuff and bridge it with science and what could be accepted at that time. And remember, that was kind of a long time ago. That was almost 3 decades ago. So,
Mm, wow.
yeah.
Yes. And that's what I share with people often is when you are these living organisms, if you don't know, DTO stands for Dave the Organism. Some
Mhm.
people don't always know that. So as these organisms, we are active. And when we're active, we have injuries, right? If you're an athlete, it's typical. Just like
Mhm.
any common part of, if you're a drummer, you're eventually going to break a drumstick, right?
Mhm.
Or you're going to
Exactly.
bang your hand or hit something, or you're going to get exhausted. There's all these different parts of us. And so, yeah, the injury, that's interesting that that happened for you. And then you got to receive, going back to my sender message,
Yeah.
you get to receive what that feels like. And then you probably just were so in gratitude and awe of also the intelligence of the human body, right? That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, yoga taught so much about the human body and the energetics of the human body and how to heal yourself and how to blend both with Eastern and Western. And so it was really the best of both worlds. I'm grateful. And that's why I found aerial yoga because it was because of my neck. I have such a long neck that doing shoulder stands or headstands didn't work for me on, yeah. So now I can hang and get that same relief and feeling. And for me, it relieves my spine and my cervical spine so much that I fell in love with aerial yoga. So that's how that happened.
Mm, so
Yeah.
good.
I know. So good things, silver linings come out of all of this.
It does, right?
Injury, right?
And you don't really live unless you've been upside down.
Thank you for that plug. Yes.
Yeah, so good to just experiment with the body and also realize with what's possible and the healing parts of it. And so let's jump into the third section, which is creative process, because there's a few parts that we could talk about. Is the intelligence and the part of us that can heal.
Mhm.
And creatively, we, of course, over time as human beings, we have naturopathic ways, we have medical ways, we have pharmaceutical ways. So there's so many approaches. And I feel like your creative process of birthing PRiSM is because you've had those multidimensional experiences where it's okay, this is the path that you chose. And there's many ways.
Mhm.
And so your creativity and how you approach a client is really powerful, right? Because if you have someone for the first time that comes in, they're going to share what they've been experiencing. Of course, they'll go through their history and their past, just like at one point you were able to be healed through someone else's knowledge of who you are. So, yeah, there's a few ways you can go with this part of our interview, but it's really like creatively, like what is your process even to like self-diagnose, and when you wake up, like what does your body need? Do you need to just do some breath work? Do you need to drink some water? Do you need some sunshine? You need to go on a walk? And I know that for you, Karla, when you have self-care, you get to show up with your cup full for others.
Right, right. No, I totally agree with you. It's a tool belt, or for me, I always think of it as all the different multifaceted spaces within a prism because we do have many things that we may need in that moment to center ourselves, to regulate our nervous system, to help our body. Um, M in PRISM stands for mindfulness. And so sometimes it's that technique that I would do, not just for a client, but just for myself in the morning to sit with just the only thing that I'm doing. Maybe it's sipping a warm water or warm tea. I have to be able to sense into that and be mindful of that and take myself into that space. And that's the simplest version of mindfulness that I can explain. The S is soma. And so somatic work is really important with the body. Again, being able to feel where your body and be intuitive and know what your body needs. Maybe not going straight for that coffee first thing in the morning. Maybe you go for something different for yourself or have water. And that's just one example too of that. But somatic play is what we do in a lot of my classes. And there is the P and the R. I'll talk about the I last, but the P is the position. So that gets me into my PT brain because I want people to kind of be able to stack and align their body for their optimal position. So they can breathe, which is respiration, which is the R, but they can breathe because their diaphragm is in the right position to be able to breathe. Their pelvic floor is in the right position to be able to breathe effectively. So all these little multifaceted parts in my matrix of PRiSM helps educate and allow people to understand and feel in their body, whether we're doing yoga, personal training of some sort, or even aerial, the breath that they need that aligns with them and what purpose they have, the posture or the position of the mind and the body, the soma and the mindfulness, and then there's integration. And that's PRiSM. That's the PRiSM. Did that answer your question?
Absolutely. And I love how that acronym came about with PRiSM, because that's the creative process. It's really,
Yeah.
how do you have these pillars that support people in their overall health and wellness? And I love that you have this holistic hybrid approach of all these worldly experiences, this ancient practice from Mother India, and how we can combine it with our own North American approaches as well. So I love that creative process that you hold for people. And yeah, I love, my background's being a school teacher. So I always love when there's lesson plans and there's organization. DTO can also mean Dave the organizer.
That's true. Yeah, we can change our letters. I sometimes, to me, means intention, because I realize how important it is in life that no matter what you're doing, you're setting the intention for that, whether it's just the intention for your relationships or the intention for your work or what you're doing for a client or what you're giving yourself for those 2 minutes that you have. So yeah, I get you. I love it.
Yeah. And so I love also how you have the PRiSM logo. It just anchors it in with that PRiSM at the top. It's so great. Well, let's jump into the community piece, right? Because what you're doing, as I said earlier, is called feedback, like sender, message, receiver, feedback. And what we call that is a feedback loop. And we also call it community response. So when you're a leader in the community, you're a facilitator, teacher, you teach in Costa Rica, you teach in Florida, and you travel. It's awesome. And the online, and we're soon going to talk about our incredible meditation series, because it just is going to give people that opportunity to respond to their own nervous system and to be guided through these somatic practices. And the reason why you would even record a guided meditation is because the response from your community is thumbs up. Yes, like we desire to have access to these meditations wherever I am in the world, because I know a lot of times when I listen to meditations, it might be 5 a.m., it might be 5 p.m. And you got to record this behind me in my professional recording studio, which is so much fun. And it is great. It's one of my favorite places to be in the world. And here's a little sneak peek video for everyone to see us behind the scenes.
I forgot about that. That's great. Yeah.
So much fun. Okay, so starting this segment of the podcast off with community response. So there are so many different people that you have taught and guided, and throughout the years, there are people that have said, what have they shared with you? Because for me, I'll share with you, wow, like when I first did aerial yoga and I got to have my body in different positions and go upside down, just this bliss and this peace that came to me. I just felt so connected and so present to myself. So there's your first blessimonial.
I will. I'll talk about aerial first, because it's a misconception that we're doing so much circus movements, because mostly my background being therapeutic, I just want you to be able to feel the hug of the fabric, and I want your upper traps and all the things that are tight in the body to release. So my job is to help you get so relaxed and in flow with the fabric and be able to work with it easily that it'll work for you. And so I have heard from my community, wow, I can't believe, I thought it was so different than this. I had no idea how this would feel. I had no idea how open my hips feel and how it just really opened my heart. In that last bit where we're laying in the fabric and all cocooned in, I mean, it was almost like, being in the womb, I've heard, or, it makes them feel like a hug, like they're nurtured. And especially if it's a pretty nice size relaxation or shavasana. So I love being able to give that to people. Number one, the kind of the shock that their body responds so well with those oscillations and the flow of the fabric. Um, and the second thing is it's empowering. So even if we're not doing the relaxation stuff, you've got a few, especially middle-aged people that say, oh, I can't do that anymore. There's just no way I can do that. And if you can give them just simple instruction and little by little get them there, it's not for too long when they feel that release of the spine, or they're able to do things balancing that they never thought they could do, or even a little bit of climbing in the fabric. It's not just adrenaline, but it is something that lifts their spirit. It empowers them and lets them know they're not done yet. They can still do some pretty fabulous things with their body and their mental capacity. So I like empowering people. It makes me very happy. And I hear that from people. So that's the aerial. Breath work, I love because a lot of people need to learn how to efficiently breathe. And it's not hard once you have your body in the right position to really, truly let your nervous system feel how to get air into certain areas of your body that it's not used to getting air into, because we're such a fast-paced world. So tapping it back a notch and helping people feel into that space. I've got clients that did follow me to Costa Rica as far as virtual coaching, which was a good response. It made me feel wonderful that I could continue to give the gift while I was there, even coaching the breath online and the meditations and mindfulness. So that's what we get to do together, DTO. Bring your music into the space, because it's either nature that I want others to get more of, with potentially being guided through breath work and mindfulness and meditation, which is what we're doing together, or it's your music. So either I want them out in nature, or I want them picturing that they're out in nature, or feeling the natural aspect of the music within their being, the vibration of the music. So meditation, those new ones are real exciting. I'm very thankful to you too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, what an honor to create something that is timeless. So anytime there's a desire for guided somatic meditations, simply hop in and go to prismwellness.com and you can download it and get access to it. And
Yeah.
I'll also be promoting it on my system and sites and all the places and spaces. And what I love is this photo was taken when we were in St. Pete together. And I took this photo of you when we were there in your office.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the machines you have, the bed, the instruments. So what has been the response when people have a one-on-one session where you're adding all the tools and elementals?
Yeah, it's even, I had to have an attorney meet me here for some paperwork at one point in time. And he even said, gosh, there's something about this place. It makes me just want to rest. And exactly, good. Because it is an energetic space to bring the body into more of alignment. And that's where we can get into some of the integration piece of PRiSM. And so I do have clients here for Reiki healing, for yoga we have, and for the private one-on-one session, then I do postural restoration techniques to, again, help them align their body more in a mechanical, physical way, but with breath. So, and then the meditations, a lot of them are recorded in this space so I can be in my best place. This is located near a massage therapist, a sauna, and a esthetician, and an acupuncturist. So we all work together and kind of give our clients a little taste of everything, and it's a nice feeling in this area, in this building.
Yeah, when I got to be there and
You got the
just
sauna.
the infrared sauna,
Yeah, yeah.
It's best when
Yes.
I'm on the road touring just to have that. Oh, that's extraordinary, the community response. I do want to bring up a photo so
Oh,
you can make a little time warp with me and explain who is here and how this was an important moment in your life.
yeah, I studied with a lot of the greats, but this is Rodney Yee, and he really brought yoga, the Iyengar tradition anyway, um, into the mainstream with his videos and with his traveling all over the United States. He obviously studied under BKS Iyengar, but he was able to kind of make it a little bit more palatable for most all of us 30 years ago. Harris Linder is another friend. She's on the end, and it was just back in that day, we didn't have phones on us all the time or cameras. So I was really shocked to find this picture from 1997. So that was fun for me to find that picture for you.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
he's
that's what it is. It's community, it's connection, it's being the student, the
oh
teacher,
yeah,
both all the time. It's a really
all the
beautiful
time.
journey when you start to unlock that, right? Like, hey, I can learn every day.
It's a
Uh,
curiosity. If you can stay curious and always be the student, you're in such a happier place, I think.
mhm, absolutely. Amazing. Well, let's jump into our final segment. It's been such a pleasure to connect. And what kind of closing words would you like to share?
I guess I just want to share to slow down. And if you can just take the word pause and breathe into that pause moment, or take a soft inhale through your nose and exhale the word pause, spell it out in your mind. Um, that's the simplest thing because it's a reminder that it's so essential and it can be done anywhere and all throughout the day. I love that we put together different lengths of or different durations of meditation and mindfulness on the website, because if you're new at this and there's like a 3-minute time, you're so busy you don't have any time, there are meditations that I've offered that are 3 minutes long or 10 minutes long. Some are 17, some are 20, 30 minutes, but they're all at different ranges just to give you a reset. Some of them are where you don't even have your eyes closed. Some of them you're trying to be completely still. Some of them are somatic, where you move a bit so that your body, if you're not used to being still, your body is okay with movement. So there's a plethora of things to choose from, and I just offer that up. I hope it's a gift to the world, because I know we all need to be utilizing these types of practices right now to really center and regulate our systems, our nervous systems. So it's an honor.
Hmm, grateful for you, grateful for all you're creating. And as you can see, everyone, if you go to prismwellnessandyoga.com, you get access to the classes, the teachings, the guided meditation series that we're launching. And this is the one that's available, as well as finding out anything and everything about what PRiSM represents. And you can also click through the website to read what the acronym stands for, as Karla was sharing with you today. And anytime you want to come to Costa Rica, we
Yeah.
have add-on options for Karla. And if she's here, she'll do a one-on-one with you. And really, as you were sharing earlier, it's about the pause. So I have an example of that pause.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and the sloth bear. Oh, that's great. Yes.
Slathi, that's our mascot at Embody Costa
Yeah.
Rica. Lives right inside our beautiful yogashala, right on the couches. This
Yes,
is
that
this
was
is
a pause.
yeah, that was definitely the sloth pause, we'll call it.
Yes. Yes.
And so, in addition to the website that everyone can see above, we also invite you to go to Instagram if you are on the gram, as the kids call it. Go check out Karla_Hollan, and there's lots of inspirational posts. And sometimes it's like my life. It's like, where in the world is Karla? Where in the world is
Yeah, for
so,
sure.
absolutely. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for seeing our labyrinth once upon a time at Embody and walking onto the land and
It's
introducing
magic.
yourself. Absolutely. This is like one of the most organic ways you can meet a human being. Central America in the Central Valley at Embody, Costa Rica, in a small town called Atenas.
It's
We
amazing.
have a labyrinth and it just all came together and so amazing. Amazing. All
Oh,
right. Thank
amazing.
you.
Thank you
Thank you, Carla.
so much.
Appreciate you. Thanks everyone out there. Pura vida.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Pura vida.